A very good morning to you. Welcome to Corporate Governance on Eco 89.7 FM. Corporate Governance is a program sponsored by the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria. My name is Olabisi Omidiri. Today on Corporate Governance Platform, our focus is on the review of the constitutions of Icsan to good corporate governance in Nigeria. Review of the contributions of Icsan to good corporate governance in Nigeria. My guest is the president and the chairman of the governing council of the institute, Mr. Bode Ayeku, FCS, whom I'll be speaking to online. Stay with us. All right, and a very good morning to you, sir. Welcome to Corporate Governance Platform.
Good morning, BC. Good morning, listener. And Baka Disala to our Muslim brothers and sisters.
All right. So our focus today is on the review of the contributions of Icsan to good corporate governance in Nigeria. Mr. Ayeku, in what ways have Icsan been contributing to good corporate governance in Nigeria?
As we all know, corporate governance is a set of principles by which organizations are directed and controlled in the interest of all stakeholders. So Icsan, as the hub of governance professionals, we've been working with relevant authorities over the years to put in place the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, stating the set of principles that will guide organizations in such a way as to protect the interests of the stakeholders. For example, the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018, we participated actively right from 2015 when we started discussion. We attended all the public hearings. We make our recommendations to the committee. And the good thing is that our members also were part of the steering committee. At least we have not less than 4 of our members as part of the steering committee. And after the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance was released in 2019, there was the need to develop the reporting template that the organizations will use for reporting their compliance with the NCCG 2018. Icsan also participated. The authorities forwarded to us the draft of the corporate governance reporting template. We also made our contributions to it before it was released to stakeholders for use. And that particular template has been in use since 2020. In addition to that, over the years, we've been organizing programs on governance issues, generally programs relating to the pillars of corporate governance, which we all know, transparency, fairness, responsibility, accountability. We organize several programs to enlighten stakeholders on their roles and also their responsibilities. In addition to that, we've been organizing programs on specific programs on, for example, sustainability, whistleblowing, ESG, that is the environmental, social, and governance issues, to ensure that all the principles covered by the Nigerian Code of Corporate Governance 2018 that will contribute to the sustainability of organizations are complied with.
Right.
In addition to that, you also recall this radio program started more than 3 years ago, since 2018. It is to enlighten stakeholders, and it's corporate governance program exclusively, and it's one of our contributions to stakeholders, because we also need to let stakeholders know what they are expected to do, and we've been sensitizing them on a weekly basis. Last year also, we tried to expand the reach by introducing the corporate governance program on television, which is also a weekly program. So these are some of the ways by which the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria have been contributing to the development of corporate governance in Nigeria.
All right. Are there instances when Icsan engaged with the authorities or the stakeholders on regulations that affect corporate governance?
Yes, there are instances whereby we engage the government. COVID came with challenges. For example, last year, when COVID started around March, which was the season of the AGM, companies, most of the companies could not hold their AGM, and the Corporate Affairs Commission released guidelines to be used for the conduct of AGM. It was called Guidelines for Conduct of AGM by proxy, in such a way that only few shareholders will be allowed to participate in an AGM. And as you know, AGM is a platform whereby the shareholders will interact with the management and also for management to render accounts. Unfortunately, the guideline included the proviso that no company can consider any matter under special business. And because of that, a lot of companies felt that it was not possible for them to hold annual general meeting whereby they will only consider ordinary business without considering special business. What we did in that case was to discuss with the Corporate Affairs Commission, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and the investors on this particular challenge, and to find a way around it in such a way that organizations or companies that also hold their AGM. And graciously, the Corporate Affairs Commission, after our webinar with them last year, revised that particular guideline by allowing companies to hold to transact a special business during the AGM. So we intervened there and we were successful with that. In addition to that, also the Corporate Affairs Commission, after the release of the Companies and Life Matters Act 2020, came up with a regulation which they call Companies Regulation. The regulations, unfortunately, in Section 13, Regulation 13, provides that all companies must fully allot their unissued shares latest by June 2021. So giving them just a space of 6 months to complete the allotment. And when stakeholders contacted the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria to intervene, we also discussed this with the Corporate Affairs Commission. We organized a webinar on this, drawing their attention to the implications of compelling companies to issue their unissued shares within 6 months. And graciously, the Corporate Affairs Commission listened to the concerns raised, and they have extended the period for compliance to 2 years. So instead of compliance to be done by June 2021, compliance has now been extended to December 2022, and this has been published. In addition to that, the Financial Reporting Council also released audit regulations recently, whereby there are some provisions that are just not in line with the Companies and Life Matters Act. As stakeholders, as usual, also contacted us for intervention. We organized a webinar with the First Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria on this issue, drawing their attention to the implications. And they listened, and they also promised to work on to find a compromise in such a way as to meet the spirit of the regulation and also incorporate the concerns of the stakeholders. Okay. And don't forget, late last year, the Finance Act was signed. Before the Finance Act 2020 was signed, the first draft that came up was that it was an intention by the authority to take over on claim dividends that are more than 3 years. And it was stated in that particular draft, initial draft B, that if dividends are on claim after 12 years, that they will lapse into the revenue of the government. Stakeholders, particularly the shareholders, they cried out that it was expropriation. We intervened. We wrote to the National Assembly when the bill was before the National Assembly. And we also discussed with authorities, and eventually the authorities agreed with us. And now the regulation of the Finance Act 2020 that came out was such that they allow unclaimed dividend to be in place for 6 years, and even after 12 years, it will not lapse to the revenue of the government. So that was another positive intervention that Corporate Affairs Commission, the Financial Reporting Council, and also the regulatory authorities on the Finance Act 2020.
All right, then, Mr. Eko, do you think that these interventions that you have mentioned have positive impact on the perception of Icsan by stakeholders?
Yes, there are several positive improvements as a result of this. Basically, the good thing is that changes were made as a result of our intervention, and they were made promptly. It has also increased our relationship with the relevant authorities, for example, regulatory authorities and the stakeholders. And the good thing is that a lot of stakeholders, whenever there are issues of interest to them now, contact the Institute of General Secretaries to intervene and to discuss with regulatory authorities in order to modify this. So it has been very positive relationship with the stakeholders, including the regulators.
Okay, is Icsan also pushing for governance code in the public sector? Mr. Ayeku. Hello, sir.
Hello?
I said, is Icsan also pushing for governance code in the public sector?
Yes, Icsan is pushing for governance codes in the public sector. The reason is very simple. Nobody can clap with one hand. We have a corporate governance code in the private sector. There must be another one for the public sector. We've been pushing for it. And then we'll be pushing for the constitution of all boards of government agencies. And the reason is very simple. The boards of government agencies are to provide leadership to ensure sustainable, good governance culture. And that is why Icsan has been pushing that all the boards of government, and the ministries, departments, and agencies should be consulted so that they can assist the management to achieve their objective. And it's very simple. It is when we have a code for both the public and the private sectors that the economy can move very fast and we can achieve our desired dream. So we are pushing for it. It actually started in 2015 before the code for the public sector was stepped down. We expect that the Financial Reporting Council will come up with the draft for the public sector and the not-for-profit so that we can have a code of good governance across board, both in the public and the private sector. And apart from that, we are also encouraging the government to ensure that all the ministry, departments, and agencies should have the enabling laws should have provision for the appointment of secretaries. It is very important because a secretary in any organization is the compliance officer, and that is why we are also pushing that all MDs that they should revise their laws. They should have provisions for secretaries. The provision also should deal with the qualification for those to be appointed as secretaries, the mode of appointment, their duties, their reporting lines, the remover, in such a way that they will be in the position to ensure that things are done properly, because that is what we have in the private sector, and we must have a similar provision in the public sector in the interest of all stakeholders.
All right. Lastly, what is your advice on how professional bodies can contribute to good governance in the public and private sectors in Nigeria?
It is very important for all professional bodies to make sure that they monitor the policies and regulations that are being released from time to time. And when the agencies they contact them for comments on draft regulations, they should promptly make their comments. They should also collate and harvest comments from their members so that they can escalate issues to the relevant stakeholders. It is in the interest of professional bodies to ensure that any policy of government that will affect their own profession or their members or their clients should be discussed with relevant regulatory authorities. I can say that from the experience of Icsan, that the regulatory authorities are actually willing to listen as long as you have cogent points. They will listen. And so I expect that for similar professional bodies, they should pick all the relevant regulations or draft proposals that will affect their profession, affect their members, affect their clients, affect the economy and also the country. They should draw the attention of the government to this, or the authorities to these regulations, bringing their weight of experience and also comparative analysis. What are the practices in other countries, so that they can use it to discuss with relevant government agencies, and then there could be a compromise in terms of what should be done based on global best practices. And as long as we're able to do this, I'm very sure that the economy will prosper and it will be in the interest of all professional bodies and their members.
All right, we must appreciate you, Mr. President Bode Ayeku, FCIS, the President and the Chairman of the Governing Council of the Institute. Thank you very much for lending your voice on today's issue.
Thank you, BC. I wish you a nice day.
Yeah, thank you, you too. All right, today's issue has been on the review of contributions of Icsan to good corporate governance in Nigeria. Mr. Kayode Ketefe, quickly, any announcement, quickly?
Thank you very much, because our time has gone. So I'll just take the announcement on our forthcoming 2021 AGM. This is to inform members of the Institute that the 47th Annual General Meeting of our Institute is scheduled to hold on Friday, 30th July 2021 at the National Secretariat, Plot 6, Edward Cement Way, Alausa, Ikeja at 11 a.m. Due to the restrictions on gathering as a result of COVID-19, only the office bearers and council members will be attending physically, while members will be joining virtually. Let me just limit it at that.
Okay, so for contact details, for those who might want information about Icsan or want to be a member, what are the contact details?
Please call 080-615-24764. I take that again. 080-615-24764 for any inquiry you have to make regarding the institute, its program, or its training, or any inquiries whatsoever.
All right, and thank you so very much, Mr. Kaude Ketefe, FCIS, for that information. Today on Corporate Governance, we've looked at the review of the contributions of Icsan to good corporate governance in Nigeria, where we spoke with the president, Mr. Bode Ayeku, FCIS. Join us same time next week on this station for another episode on corporate governance. My name is Olabisi Omidiri. Good morning.
Hey, Obinna, good to see you. You look so worried. Is everything all right? I'm having serious issues in my company, balancing the interests of my company's many stakeholders like shareholders, management, customers, financiers, government, and communities giving us a problem. That has to do with corporate governance. Exactly. Then you need to get in touch with ICSAN.
Icsan?
Yeah, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN. They provide you with seasoned and top-ranking professionals trained to uphold the standards of corporate governance and efficient operations. You can also get in touch with
Icsan.
If you want to become a chartered secretary and administrator, contact
Icsan
by visiting the website
www.icsan.org
or call 009 06 601 69.
Icsan,
the hub of governance professionals.